A federal judge in Washington has heard from the attorneys for fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook today. That's our top story. Thanks for watching Spin Room. I'm Vanessa Broussard. Good to have you on this Friday. Lisa Cook was fired by President Trump on mortgage fraud allegations. That was this week. Well, yesterday she sued the president. Today there was a hearing in a D.C. courtroom. Her attorneys say she was fired with no cause. The Trump administration says she committed mortgage fraud, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Here's the bombshell they dropped just last night on the 3rd case. You were just looking at it. Our Allison Steinberg is following today's hearing, and she has more. Allison.
Well, we're live here outside the E. Barrett Pettyman Courthouse, where an emergency hearing just wrapped after roughly 2 hours for Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Lisa Cook was seeking a temporary restraining order, or TRO, which would allow her to be reinstated while the rest of her legal case works its way through the court system. Ultimately, there was no ruling today, and it actually does not appear as though Cook is even going to be forced to leave in the interim. Therefore, begging the question, is the TRO even necessary? New reports are also alleging Fed Chair Jerome Powell has continued to let Lisa Cook have access to her office and electronics, despite the President of the United States ordering her firing on Monday over mortgage fraud allegations. Trump cited authority under Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States and the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 to fire her. According to housing regulator Bill Pulte's criminal referral, Lisa Cook committed mortgage fraud by lying on her mortgage application and falsifying bank statements when she designated her out-of-state Atlanta condo as her primary residence just 2 weeks after taking a loan out on her Michigan home, which she also claimed as her primary residence. Cook then filed a federal lawsuit, and the case was assigned to U.S. District Judge Gia Cobb, a Biden-appointed judge who set an emergency hearing at 10 a.m. Friday morning to consider whether Lisa Cook should remain at her job as Federal Reserve Governor. Now, just to give you some background here, there are 7 Federal Reserve governors, each appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate for staggered 14-year terms. The chair of the board, currently Jerome Too Late Powell, as he's now been dubbed by President Trump, is appointed by the president for a 4-year term and can be reappointed as many times as the president wishes during their 14-year term as Federal Reserve Governor. Now, regarding Lisa Cook, she's the first Black Federal Reserve Governor in history. Cook is regarded as one of the few prominent Black female economists and has attracted attention within the academic community for her efforts in mentoring Black women and advocating for their inclusion in the field of economics. Prior to joining the Fed, Cook taught at Michigan State University and Harvard University and served in the Obama administration as a senior economist on the Council of Economic Advisors. Now, on January 14th, 2022, Joe Biden nominated Cook to serve as Federal Reserve Governor. She was then confirmed by the Senate on May 10th after a 50-50 vote was broken by tie-breaking vote Kamala Harris, and then took office on May of 2022. And according to Roger Stone, things get even worse. Lisa Cook was formerly in the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, along with the federal district judge she was assigned to, Gia Cobb. So apparently, they want us to believe the clerk of the D.C. court just randomly happened to assign the former sorority sisters together by chance. Now, with all of this going on, many are wondering, can a president actually fire a Federal Reserve Board member? Well, when Congress created the Fed in 1913, lawmakers said officials could only be removed for cause, which means good reason. The Supreme Court has said this gives Fed officials unique protection from removal. Now, usually cause would relate to misconduct and inability to function in their current role. So this firing is really testing bounds of presidential power over the mostly independent Federal Reserve, right? So you may be wondering what happens now. Well, both sides will appeal whatever ruling comes down, and then the case will go to the circuit court. And then from there, whatever ruling results will most likely be appealed to the Supreme Court. I don't know. Perhaps the real solution here is to just end the Fed, like Ron Paul has been saying for decades. With that being said, my name is Allison Steinberg, reporting for Lindell TV. Thanks so much for watching.
All right, and just to let you know, too, that sources say that Fed Chair Jerome Powell has still allowed Cook to access her office and use her computer since she was terminated. That was also posted today. You can see there, CNBC is reporting that she's still being allowed inside her old office to access the computers and electronics. We'll continue to follow this, gather more information, and keep you posted. We're told that both sides, Trump's attorneys and Cook's attorneys, have until midweek next week to post some paperwork for the judge, to submit those to the judge, and then she'll make a ruling from there, and we'll definitely keep you posted here on Lindell TV. Now to the latest with the Trump Department of Justice. A lot going on there behind the scenes. Here's Kara Castronova.
More controversy is erupting inside the Department of Justice. A senior federal trial attorney by the name of Sigmund F. Fuchs has filed paperwork to dismiss a $100 million lawsuit brought by the Proud Boys, who were politically persecuted by President Biden's DOJ after the events of January 6th. The lawsuit, filed in June by Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio and the so-called Seditious Five, accuses the Biden administration's Justice Department of waging a, quote, egregious and systematic abuse of the legal system, end quote, to silence Trump supporters. The Proud Boys attorneys say they were targeted with inflated charges, deprived of due process, and handed decades-long sentences before President Trump ultimately pardoned or commuted them earlier this year. But the Department of Justice filing this week signals a sharp turn. Despite Trump's pardons, Pam Bondi's attorneys appear to be siding with Biden's DOJ and asking a federal judge to throw out the suit. The department argues that the Proud Boys have no proof that investigators fabricated testimony or planted evidence. They cite detention hearings and what they called, quote, incontrovertible photo evidence, end quote, of members inside the Capitol. That's a strange statement from the current DOJ, considering the now mostly undisputed fact that simply walking around the Capitol and taking photos does not equate to seditious conspiracy. The timing is explosive. Just days ago, the Biden's DOJ star witness against the Proud Boys, Jeremy Bertino, recanted, admitting under oath that FBI officials threatened and coerced him to commit perjury in order to secure their seditious conspiracy convictions of the Proud Boys.
Were you forthcoming?
On the stand?
Yeah.
No, I twisted the story they wanted the way they wanted it twisted.
Okay.
Yeah.
He also alleges that the DOJ and the FBI conspired to construct a false narrative to ensure the Proud Boys would be found guilty, goading him into false testimony by threatening him with a 25-year prison sentence if he did not comply.
I think that if I didn't, I was looking at decades in prison for a crime I didn't commit.
Bertino further claims that FBI agent Nicole Miller, who still works at the Bureau, personally coached him into that false testimony during illegal, off-the-record meetings with Biden's DOJ.
How many times did you meet with them total? Just give me a ballpark.
15.
Do you know that they only told us that you met with them 3 times?
I'm surprised, but not surprised.
And legal experts now believe the very point of Biden's DOJ securing those Proud Boy convictions was to create a direct link to President Trump, laying the groundwork to later convict him of seditious conspiracy in his own J6 federal trial. And now many are asking, when will these federal officials, some still working inside the government, be investigated and held legally accountable for what they did to President Trump's supporters after January 6th? Many Trump supporters are calling the DOJ's move not just confusing, but dangerous, a sign that entrenched bureaucrats like Proud Boys prosecutor Jocelyn Ballentine continue to corrode the halls of the Department of Justice. Fun fact, DOJ attorney Sigmund F. Fuchs moonlights as a playwright when he's not targeting Trump supporters in court. His production, In the Closet, tells the story of 4 gay men who retreat into their metaphorical safe space, symbolized by a closet. As for Nicole Miller, well, she's still working at the FBI. And for someone who allegedly worked in secret, coercing federal witnesses, well, it's fitting that it's impossible to find a photo of her on the internet. President Trump delivered pardons, but bureaucrats loyal to the old Biden regime are still at work to undermine him. Some say this proves another deep cleanup is needed inside the DOJ. A federal judge will now decide if the $100 million lawsuit moves forward or if the Justice Department succeeds in shutting it down. The fight for justice for January 6th is far from over. And some are even asking, were the real conspirators not the Proud Boys at all, but the legal team and the government officials who worked together to allegedly frame them? Reporting from the White House for Lindell TV, I'm Kara Castronova.
And we'll talk more about that a little bit more for January 6th and some new information that's come out of that here in just a minute. But I do want to go back to our Allison Steinberg now. This week, the Trump administration announced more information has been found inside those burn bags that are hidden in rooms and closets that were never burned. And what's in these burn bags can be very telling. They're currently being investigated. Here's more from Allison.
Will we finally see accountability into the high-level political malfeasance surrounding the rigged 2020 election? It looks like what we suspected all along just might be definitively proven as fact. President Trump, along with DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, have uncovered burn bags of documents tied to election corruption.
We are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices, in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others that have caused really immeasurable harm to the American people and to our country.
If these documents are made public, what can we expect to see? Perhaps something to do with the thousands of ballots that were mysteriously dropped off in the middle of the night. That's just one of many instances of fraud, but what exactly will be done about it? Will we see prosecutions, indictments? In June, President Trump posted on Truth Social demanding the 2020 election be investigated. He said the evidence is massive and overwhelming. A special prosecutor must be appointed. So just like the deep state appointed special counsel Robert Mueller to lead the charge in the failed Russiagate witch hunt, now it's President Trump's turn to expose the real criminals. And speaking of which, this is not the first instance of a burn bag situation. There's also been an ongoing DOJ investigation into whether the Biden-controlled FBI was secretly destroying Russiagate hoax documents to protect James Comey and John Brennan. Last month, FBI Director Kash Patel uncovered thousands of documents stuffed into burn bags hidden in a secret FBI room. Among them was the now declassified annex to John Durham's report containing the intelligence he investigated.
A burn bag is a government bag that is specifically created to destroy classified evidence and shred and burn it. Hence the name burn bag. We didn't find one, we found 7. That wasn't the only thing we found in there. We found hard drives from our predecessors and prior FBI leadership. And folks like Page, Strzok, Comey, McCabe, Comey, the list goes on from Russiagate. The names were strewn all over these materials. And these documents have been publicly disclosed because the greatest way to educate and bring along the American public for transparency, initiative, and accountability under President Trump is to give them the documents. And step 1 is by cleaning house inside the walls of Hoover.
The walls are closing in. The roles that Obama and Hillary Clinton played in orchestrating the Russiagate hoax, a Democrat whistleblower accusing Adam Schiff of leaking classified documents, and of course, most recently, former National Security Advisor John Bolton was found to have mishandled classified documents. In fact, on the same day of the FBI's raid of John Bolton's home, Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee Jim Jordan said that these developments are not acts of political retribution, but rather necessary accountability to address the deep state actions that sabotaged a legitimately elected president.
So you got Comey, Schiff, Clapper, Brennan, Bolton, all out to undermine the president. That's the deep state in action, trying to sabotage the guy we the people put into the Oval Office. That's what they tried to do. And now you got good people running these federal agencies who are looking at the facts and just going on the facts and bringing that forward. This is not political retribution. This is accountability, and it's exactly what the American people voted on when they put President Trump in the White House on November 5th.
It's no question that the American people are outraged and are demanding to see heads roll. Things are starting to heat up, and President Trump is cleaning house. Reporting for Lindell TV, I'm Allison Steinberg.
Breaking news coming in from Texas now. Governor Greg Abbott has signed off on that controversial redistricting map, gaining seats for Republicans ahead of the 2026 election. Here's more from Governor Abbott.
This is Governor Greg Abbott. I'm about to sign the law that creates the one big, beautiful map that ensures fair representation in the United States Congress for Texans. I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Patrick, Speaker Burrows, Senator King, Representative Todd Hunter, Representative Cody Vasut, and all of the legislature who stayed in the Capitol and got this law to my desk. Texas is now more red in the United States Congress.
Well, what this means is people like Jasmine Crockett will lose their seat. Are you smiling? Because I am. Well, the Dems fled the state in protest. Remember that? And California Governor Gavin Newsom says he's now going to do the same in California to add more Democrat seats there to counter Texas. But in Missouri, the governor there has announced that the state will also have a special session to redraw its maps. So in Missouri, more Republicans there. So we'll see what happens as 2026 elections are just over a year away. And great news for the family of Ashley Babbitt. This afternoon, the U.S. Air Force has reversed its previous decision and is now offering military funeral honors for Ashley Babbitt, a senior airman who was fatally shot during the January 6th, 2021 Capitol incident. The move follows a review by current leadership and comes several years after an initial denial in 2021 that was under the Biden administration. A letter has been sent to Babbitt's family from the Air Force stating that a military funeral will be held. Specific funeral arrangements have not been publicly detailed. When we come back, Fun Fridays, and today we're poking fun of Gavin Newsom. Stay with us.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including Lindell TV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to Lindell TV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
Whether it's being a weekend warrior or spending time with your family, feeling your best is the key to doing the things you love. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Nirvanta. It's a natural solution designed to help you stay active and live well naturally. Nirvanta is a topical blend of all natural essential oils like frankincense, myrrh, and a proprietary gold standard plant stock extract. It's perfect for your hands, feet, knees, back, or anywhere else that needs a little extra care. Use Nirvanta proactively as part of your daily maintenance routine, and you're guaranteed you're going to feel the difference. Simply massage Nirvanta in for at least 60 seconds, 2 to 3 times a day to get the best results. And if you're not completely satisfied, you get your money back. No questions asked. There's simply no risk and no reason not to try Nirvanta today. Right now, you get 15% off with code Lindell exclusively at nirvantahealth.com. So stop reaching out for that medicine cabinet. Get Nirvanta instead and experience the difference. Go to nirvantahealth.com. Use code Lindell to get 15% off today. Nirvanta Health. Live well naturally.
Time for today's quote of the week. We love the authenticity of President Trump, and when the media asks him a question, we never really know what he's going to say. So here he is this week talking about California Governor Gavin Newsom. Take a listen.
You have an incompetent governor there. You have an incompetent governor in California, Gavin. I know him very well. He's incompetent. He's a nice guy, looks good. Hi, everybody. How you doing? He's got some strange hand action going. I don't know what the hell his problem is. It's a little weird, to be honest. There's a little something shaky going on there. But, you know, all he has to do is call me and say, we have the Olympics coming up. We want to make it really good and safe.
What is that weird stuff he does with his hands? We all talk with our hands. I'm doing that right now, but his is a little suspicious and quite dramatic. All right, now let's have some more fun on this Friday. Let's bring in podcaster Jeff Ahern. Jeff, did you see the president just now talking about Gavin Newsom? What is that he does with his hands? Why is he so goofy?
He's an odd duck. You know, I love Trump. Just kills me. He's just constantly like with the hands, the interesting. I like when he uses the word interesting. It encompasses so much. You know, so much. You know, like when he refers to Nancy Pelosi's husband as an interesting man.
Right. Very well. She's a very interesting woman too. So you know
Yeah,
the two are just alike. But Gavin Newsom, he does this weird stuff with his hands when he's talking, and we really don't know what he's doing. And so who talks like that normally? I don't know anybody but Gavin Newsom
chef.
that does that. So
He's like the Swedish chef. He's like hurdy bird, a hardy.
yeah.
He covers his greasy hair with a chef hat. It's not a bad idea.
Well, we talked about it last week too, how he is mocking Trump on social media. He's, you know, saying that Gavin Newsom is always right. You know, make whatever, everything that President Trump has done with Make America Great Again, or President Trump is always right, or if President Trump comes up with names for people, Gavin Newsom's trying to do the same thing now. And we talked about it last week, how annoying it is. It's a terrible marketing campaign. But things are getting a little better. Take a listen to this from Gavin Newsom talking this week on a stage at a conference. Take a listen.
You're not saying you think Republicans are going to stop it?
I don't think Donald Trump wants another election. You think for a second I have 24 Trump 2028 hats. His folks keep sending me.
And you think he's going to run again?
No, don't give me. Who spends $200 million on a ballroom at their home and then leaves the house?
I love it. The ultimate trolls sending him Trump 2028 hats. I love it.
It's terrific. I mean, because the Democrats are just such easy targets. They get all flustered and they get their panties in a bunch, if you will. Especially Newsom, wouldn't put it past them. But they're so easy to troll. It's funny, and you can hear the people laughing. They're not laughing with Newsom. They're laughing at Newsom for the suggestion that somehow Trump's going to be rolling in 2028, and everyone better be scared.
Well, yeah, right. Well, and to his point, though, on the ballroom, yes, who builds a ballroom at their house and then leaves? So it makes me wonder, Trump is always 10 steps ahead of everyone. Can this man predict the future? I don't know. Sometimes I think that he can, because he's always so far ahead of everyone. And so there's some method to his madness with this ballroom. But if you look at, I don't think the media has actually covered why he's doing this ballroom, because when he hosts dignitaries from other countries, or if he has to have a Republican event at the White House, there's really nowhere for a large scale of people to go, which makes sense to have a beautiful ballroom. Why not? And he's paying with his own funds or whatever. So,
exactly.
But I feel like there's more to the ballroom. So I think Governor Newsom was on to something. I think that his reasoning was wrong, that President Trump, wants to stay another 4 years. But I think that there's reasoning behind that ballroom.
Yeah, I think JD's going to enjoy it, for his 8 years.
You're right. and then Marco Rubio.
Trump a bunch of times.
Yeah. And
Rubio for another 8.
Yeah, and maybe one day we'll see Barron enjoying it. Barron Trump enjoying it for 8 years. So
Yeah, I mean, what's the minimum age? 30 something? He might be
Right.
up there by then.
Yeah, and so, the Republicans can enjoy this for a very long time. So hopefully that's the reasoning behind this. But we'll continue to watch that. Gavin Newsom, he just needs to stop. But we know that he's eyeing something. He's been on a roll lately, and I love how the Trump team is sending him hats. By the way, have you seen this? Did you know that the Democrats have a fight song now? It's true.
Oh, no. Oh, it's going to be so bad, won't it?
Yeah, we have the lyrics. I want to show you the lyrics. Here it is. We're going to pop it up on screen. This is it, and I'm not going to sing it. I was watching another network the other day. They didn't sing it either because we talk for a living. We are not musicians. But it says, DEMS, we rise, stronger together, blue skies, lift your voice. We're bold and true. Onward, Democrats, we shine blue.
I mean, I don't think it's a great. 'Cause when you think of blue, you think of blue hairs, you think of the nose piercings, you think of trans shooters, you think
That's
of all
right.
that baggage with blue.
Okay, I was thinking their color, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Blue hair. And I guarantee all of the blue-haired people out there will be singing along. I bet Gavin with his weird hand gestures, Tim Walz with his jazz hands and high kicks, they could be the co-cheerleaders, right? Co-head cheerleaders at the Democratic pep rally.
I love it. In Minnesota, they have male cheerleaders anyways right now. They're just kind of sticking it there. Once, him and Gavin could dress up in women's cheerleading outfits, and maybe perhaps they could run as a team.
That is awful. I've never seen a fight song for a party, but there you go. They will come up with anything. But I love the concept that you have. You really picked up on that fast with the blue. I was thinking the color scheme of their party, but blue hair makes sense.
It's the color scheme of crazy. It's that warning sign when you see them. You're like, okay, you're going to be trouble with your blue hair and your nonsensical wokeisms.
That's great. Well, I can't wait to see what comes out of this. Are they going to have a musician? Taylor Swift. They love her so much. She promoted Kamala and endorsed Kamala in the 2024 election. So maybe it's Taylor Swift. And speaking of, Jeff, I know it's flooded our feeds all week. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan at all, not in the least. Don't want to see her at games, don't want to see her in concert, do not. However, I am happy when other people are happy and in love, and so I'm happy for her. I'm happy for him, not a fan of his either, but I'm glad if they found love and they're happy and they're engaged and want to spend their life together, good for them, good luck to them. However, did you know that everyone was talking about, oh my God, Taylor Swift's engaged? Most of the Swifties were excited except for one little boy, and it's really sad. Take a look at this when this little boy found out that his girlfriend was engaged. Take a look.
Oh, no.
I know. What's wrong?
I want to get married to Taylor Swift. Huh? I want to get married to Taylor Swift.
You want to get married to Taylor Swift? Travis is going to get married to her.
Yeah, but it's not fair.
It's not fair.
No.
That's just sad.
Oh, that's so sad. I feel bad for that little kid. He needs to find himself a Republican girl, though.
There you go. There's some great Republican singers out there. Yeah, and he'll be much
I
happier
think so. I mean,
in the long run.
He's dodging a bullet. He really is. And everyone Taylor Swift picks as a boyfriend, she eventually breaks up with and writes terrible songs about how awful they were to her. So I think it's a good thing in the long run.
You just gave some great parental advice to find you a Republican girlfriend, someone who believes in, not that she doesn't believe in Jesus and good morals and all of the things. Taylor Swift dumps all her boyfriends anyway. So I guess when
all of them.
Travis Kelce doesn't win a Super Bowl, she might dump him next. We'll see. I don't know.
When the PR benefit goes away, so does Travis.
Okay, so I'm so glad you said that because she, to me, is not a great singer. She's good. Look, I don't sing, so props to her. She's made it, and she's amazing at what she does. I don't think she's the best singer in the world. In my opinion, I think she has this amazing promotions team that has just targeted the kids, comes up with these bracelets that they all share. everything they do is timed out perfectly with her album releases, whatever. Her marketing team is amazing. So Taylor Swift
brilliant.
really needs to thank them, because that's who has pushed her, in my opinion, to this level.
And Kanye.
And Kanye.
Don't forget about that. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Kanye West gave her the spotlight for a little while, and everybody's, poor Taylor. Was that a publicity stunt? We never will find out the truth.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's not beyond the realm of possibility in this world.
No. Well, it gets even crazier. When the news broke this week that Taylor was engaged, this actually happened in the middle of a college class at a university. Take a look.
I have a biochem midterm today, but Taylor and Travis just got engaged. Due to this information, I can't focus, you all can't focus, class is canceled, get out of here. We gotta go. We need time to process this information.
You gotta be kidding
I
me.
fear for our future. I really do.
I'm just,
People are like, whoa!
I'm thinking of the parents here. If I was a parent of a child in college, I would be calling the school immediately. I don't pay for this.
Yeah.
And I want my money back. If you're a college professor, if my child's a college professor, if they're in biology, I'm not sure what class this is, I want them to be learning biology. When they leave class and get on their phone, they can celebrate Taylor Swift. But they're paying thousands of dollars a semester for kids to go to school, for them to be dismissed because a pop artist got engaged. There's calls for this professor to be fired online.
Well, I mean, I don't blame him unless he's teaching Taylor Swift studies, and then yeah, that's on point. But yeah, if you're teaching anything else and you can't handle Taylor Swift getting engaged, then send your TA in and let them teach the class.
Right, and you said that, and I've seen that article as well, where are we going to have a pop culture class in college soon with Taylor Swift as the subject? Yeah, probably.
We will, and it'll count towards your degree at Columbia.
Oh gosh. Well, if they do put Taylor Swift in a class that goes back to our marketing, it needs to be in a marketing class, because her marketing team is genius. And so that's what kids need to focus on, is how did they do this? How can I help somebody make it big and be successful?
Maybe this is part of their yet another of their marketing campaigns. They pay this college guy to do this, or this professor to do this. They give them some money, and then it's more keep the Taylor Swift balloon floating.
There you go.
Who knows?
Well, again, I'm happy for her. I'm not a fan of her, but that's my prerogative. I probably couldn't tell you one song of hers because I don't listen, but I'm always happy for people to find true love, because it's rare, and I hope that they stay together and it's not another breakup song, but we shall see. All right, Jeff, you have...
There's a breakup song coming.
Yeah. Well, you have a podcast on Rumble. Tell us how people can follow you. You are working on a show actually today, so I want people to go check out your show.
Yep, be on and about. I'll be on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific time on Rumble, Jeff Ahern Show, and then on you can meet me on X at News O the Day on X.
All right, sounds good. Well, I can't wait to see what next week brings when we bring you back on for Friday, and what kind of fun topics we can discuss. But in the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Happy Labor Day to you. I know it's going to be a long weekend for so many people, so I hope you enjoy the long weekend, if you even get one. You have a show Monday, right?
No, Mom taking Monday off.
There you go. You deserve it. There you go. But everyone go follow Jeff Ahern. He has that show on Rumble and also X. And follow along. And I think we should be doing a show on your podcast soon, right? Yes?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, not this weekend, maybe next weekend.
Let's do it. All right. So that'll do it for us here on Fun Fridays. Jeff, good to see you. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
All right, great to see you, Vanessa. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. And stay with us here on Spin Room. We have a word from Mike Lindell next. Stay with us.
If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, and reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then this message is for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to make America healthy again, and two of their best-selling health supplements are leading the way. First is Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans have a sluggish liver that's riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on the pounds, and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula takes care of that. It supports thriving liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down and revitalize your energy levels. Next is lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, and feet, this is for you. The natural ingredients in lymph system support help gently flush away extra fluid and toxins out of your body. And right now, for a limited time, you get 35% off Liver Health Formula and Lymph System Support, along with 50 plus other health supplements that Pure Health Research has to offer. So head over to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com, promo code Lindell to save 35% on your order today. With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com. Swollen limbs, joint pain, inflammation, skin aging, and cognitive decline. These are just a few of the awful side effects that you can experience due to poor blood circulation. And popping ibuprofen is not a solution to the pain. It's only temporary relief, and it's only masking the true problem, which is inflammation. Researchers are saying to add this Antarctic super nutrient to your diet. I'm talking about omega-3 fatty acids, but not just any form of omegas. These particular omega-3 fatty acids are sourced from wild-caught krill. Has been shown to support healthy blood pressure, circulation, brain health, as well as reduce inflammation, swelling, and joint pain. For a limited time, you can grab Native Path Antarctic Krill Oil for up to 66% off plus free shipping. Just go to getkrill.com/Lindell right now to get your special offer.
Let's take a look at Wall Street now, heading out to MarketWatch.com. The Dow, S&P 500, the NASDAQ all closing in the red today as we end the week. As you see, the NASDAQ down 249 points today. The S&P 500 closes the day down 41. And the Dow closing the day down 92 points. Well, it seems to be fake news. Melania Trump is making headlines this afternoon after reports that Vanity Fair considered putting her on the cover. This is the picture that's circulating the internet. The buzz started after a fake Vanity Fair cover, which you see here, of Melania started circulating online. This mock-up fueled speculation, but the magazine never published it. Inside Vanity and the offices were told the mere suggestion caused backlash, with some staffers threatening to walk out if Melania was ever featured on the magazine. So it looks like that this is not true, but we think that it should be. And if Vanity Fair employees want to quit, well, we say just show them the door. All right, let's switch gears here real quick and check in with Mike Lindell. He's standing by with one of our sponsors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lindell TV. As you know, we are getting so big here at Lindell TV. Our voice is expanding, and we want to be the biggest network in history. And we couldn't do it without our great sponsors. By the way, we're publicly traded now. go to over the counter, and our stock symbol is MLMC. We're getting bigger, and that is only possible by our great sponsors. And we have the best here today with Dr. Chad Walding. He's co-founder of Native Path, and I've been taking so much of your stuff for months now, and you guys, this is the real deal. And today we're going to focus on Antarctic krill oil, and we're going to, Doctor, great to have you on. And I want to thank you for being a great sponsor of Lindell TV and having the best products ever. And I know today we're going to focus on other oils being used. I got my report here, you guys. See if I'm saying this right. There's with Robert Kennedy now. He's labeled a lot of these oils toxic that we've used all our lives. Is that true, or what? Can you give us what's coming out about the oils that we're using, and then we can get. This is going to be a problem solution show, everybody, as usual.
I love it, Mike. And first off, thank you for having me back, and it's so good to be here. And thank you for all your listeners. I'm honored to be here, and I love talking about health, specifically about this topic right here that RFK has been bringing up is these toxic industrial seed oils that have become a part of our food supply. They're in our processed foods, in our packages. We go out to eat to restaurants. They're in there. They're often labeled as heart healthy. But what's also going on is these toxic industrial seed oils are causing a huge crisis to our health. So if we back up a step, and RFK looks at really the past 50 years, I like to look at the past 100 years, you can see trends of how our health is in a crisis. In 1970, for instance, 10% of the population was obese. And now in 2025, 74% of American adults are either dealing with being overweight or obese. If you look at diabetes, right? In 1950, 1% of the population was diabetic. And now we're at a state where 52% of the population is either pre-diabetic or has type 2 diabetes. Like what is causing all this, right? And he points to the introduction and really the extra consumption of ultra processed foods. We know in ultra processed foods, there's sugars, there's artificial dyes. He's really going after that. But another part of that is these toxic industrial seed oils, right? These fats that are in there. And we have this belief in our culture that fat makes you fat, specifically saturated fat makes you fat. Things like butter. We have this vision of how it clogs your arteries and makes your cholesterol worse and gives you heart disease. But as time goes on, we're seeing that the less traditional fats we eat and the more toxic industrial seed oils that we eat, the worse our health gets, right? So what are these toxic industrial seed oils that we're referring to? We're talking about things like canola oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, corn oil, margarine. It's important to note these were not a part of the human diet until the early part of the 1900s, right? When the food industry really started mass producing things, they're very cheap to make, which means better profit margins for the food industry. They make it out of mono agriculture. And they're, like I said earlier, these are the foods that are traditionally marketed as heart healthy. That's the sad thing about it. But really, it's the processing, the way these industrial toxic seed oils are made. They're exposed to light and oxygen. They use chemical solvents, bleaching agents. This deodorizes them to make them more palatable for you. And when it does this, it becomes extremely toxic and inflammatory to our bodies. And that's really what RFK is getting at, is the inflammation is leading to this overconsumption of way too many omega-6 fats, which is what we're going to find in these toxic industrial seed oils, and way too little omega-3 fats, which is what we find in the traditional fats, right? And that process of too many omega-6 to omega-3s, the current ratio in the modern world is like 20-1 or 30-1. Our ancestors were more like 4-1, 5-1. So this leads to inflammation, right? Inflammation is really at the core root of so many diseases like autoimmune issues, cardiovascular issues, gastrointestinal issues, lung diseases, neurological diseases, metabolic diseases, even some cancers, swelling, in the hands and the feet that so many people deal with. Anything with itis behind it is a medical term for inflammation. So myocarditis, arthritis, right? Those are medical terms, right? So this is a big issue in terms of what we put in our body, and really fixing it is the next step.
Right on. Well, how would krill oil help that? I mean, how does your product then help we just heard the problem. Now, what's the solution here?
That's right. Yeah, and it's important to know that when we're working with inflammation, what most people think of is I just need to take an anti-inflammatory, right? I'll just take an ibuprofen or an Advil. That's what we're conventionally told. It really hasn't gotten us anywhere. We have to remember that has a long list of side effects, right? The diarrhea, the dizziness, the headaches, the nausea, the vomiting. And the other thing that these over-the-counter anti-inflammatories do is they mask the pain. They don't really get to the core issue, and they only provide temporary relief, right? And the other thing they do is they damage your gut lining, which then keeps you in this state of being in an inflammatory state dependent on these anti-inflammatories. So we want to, at Native Path, we want to push people towards the natural things, the things that worked 200 years ago, that'll work 200 years from now, right? And omega-3s is one of the best things you can do to bring down inflammation. And there's so much studies on how omega-3s are helpful, right? Reducing the risk of blood clots by over 60%, reducing joint pain by 28% in as little as 7 days. But the thing is, when most people do think of omega-3s, they think of fish oil. Right, that's what we've been thinking of, right? And in our standpoint, krill oil is far superior to fish oil. And one of the things we have to keep in mind is how well we absorb it, right? And when put head to head with krill oil against fish oil, you know, the scientists have found that krill oil is 50% more absorbable. So you get more bang for your buck doing what you just did right there, Mike. Right? So and
you're awesome.
So
I've been taking quite a while now.
It's so great. And it's one of the best things you can do for prevention and to manage all those issues with inflammation that so many people are dealing with. You know, so many people come to us with the feelings of swollen hands and swollen feet that won't go away, the edema, right? That's inflammation in your arteries and veins where there's not enough space for blood to come back. And what krill oil does is highly effective for reducing an inflammation.
Hey, this is just a side fact, but tell us where krill oil comes from, you guys. This is very interesting because I've had to do some studies on this. So go ahead and tell them, where's it come from?
Yeah.
And how did people discover that it works? I mean, but go ahead.
I know. Yeah. So it comes from the pristine waters of the Antarctic Ocean, right deep in the sea. Krill are like tiny little shrimp creatures, and you know we found that this is one of the best sources of omega-3s because it's not tainted with pollutants, right? The fish oil that we get from down the street at CVS or Eckers or whatever, like that stuff comes from the oceans that are now polluted with mercury and nuclear disasters and all kinds of garbage that's in the ocean. So I simply do not trust the quality of that. You know, at Native Path, we really value purity and the cleanliness in our products. We feel that gives better results and that your body's able to absorb it and it sells a lot better. So the source is really important. You know, we talked about collagen before and where we source our collagen from healthy cows. It's the same thing with omega-3s and getting it from krill from the pristine waters of the Antarctic Ocean.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome when I did that. I'm going, wow, they go through a lot of stuff to get the best. You guys hear this? This is why our sponsors are the best. We do a deep dive. And yeah, I thought that was amazing that you go out of the way. They could cut corners. That's what the other guys do. It's all full of garbage. And no, seriously, I mean, that people that are out there, I'll tell you what, if you end up on Lindell TV, you have quality. You guys, it's just like My Pillow, my first sponsor that we had. You know, it's got to be the best. It's got to be the best. And that's what we have here with the krill oil and with Native Path. You've already kind of touched on why it's better than like ibuprofen. You already kind of touched on that. What other ailments can the krill oil help with? I mean, I guess if it helps inflammation, you're pretty much across the board, right?
That's a good way to think of it. Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, one of the first things people notice is the reduction of leg and feet swelling, which is huge. If you have that, that's a big sign that something's going on with your venous return. So people notice that it helps with that. It's also helpful for your heart, right? When people think about heart health, omega-3s is there, but studies show that krill oil can help lower your triglycerides and LDL cholesterol. So that's the bad kind, and raise the good kind, the HDL. It's also been shown to reduce joint pain. So people that are having trouble with aches and pains, things like arthritis, it's very helpful for that. Boosting your metabolism. If you're someone who has a hard time losing weight, or you got some fat around the midsection and things like that, it can be helpful for that. And it's been shown to slow the aging process. So studies show that higher levels of omega-3s are associated with longer telomeres, right? So very helpful for that. Also good for your brain, your focus, your memory, and your quick thinking. So as we age, these are the type of things that become very helpful. Our brain loves good quality fats, and krill oil is one of those.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, everybody. And remember, right now, you can go to the website, get krill oil or getkrill.com/Lindell and make it easier to type in. Getkrill.com/Lindell. Go there. You're going to get the biggest specials ever. And you guys, you really need this. You really need this for inflammation, for all these other things that it helps. And I really believe in this product. It's awesome. And Doctor, when you talk about these other oils, let's go backtrack here. I can't really read that stuff anyway on there. That's right on there right now, by the way. It must be on my end. Could you guys? But anyway, can when you say to ditch these other oils, that's your cooking oils and stuff, right? I mean, or is this just offsetting that?
Well, I would encourage everybody. The things I mentioned earlier, like canola oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil, I would encourage you never to buy those again. I would encourage you, if they're in your pantry, to throw them away and replace them with traditional, healthy cooking oils. And go back to the things that our great-great-grandparents did, like whole real butter, tallow, ghee, coconut oil. Olive oil at low heats is also good. But these are traditional oils that are much safer and in my opinion, taste a lot better. Like when you go into an environment where they're using industrial seed oils, I can smell it now. It smells toxic to me. So definitely replace the pantry. Start using krill oil. Give it a good 3-month shot. And then just notice the difference in how you feel. That is the main thing, and how you feel and how you move.
Right on. You get free tips here too on Lindell TV with our great Dr. Chad here. This is great, everybody. So really, it's a win-win-win. You're helping Lindell TV here. You're helping this great sponsor who's the reason we're here in the first place, these great sponsors, and you're helping yourself on your way to better health every day. This is all about, we want to stay healthy. We're in the greatest times ever to be alive. And you go there right now. I encourage you, get krill oil or getkrill.com/Lindell. You can see it right there on the screen. There it is. Everybody, getkrill.com/Lindell. Get there, get the best special ever on it. And Doctor, I can't thank you enough for coming on, and we'll have you back soon. And I'm hoping that we have success with all of your products, because they're all great. I've been using all of them now for, 4 or 5 months, but I can't thank you enough. And everyone that's got your products thanks you, I'm sure. And it really does make a difference, everybody. Get it now. I'm going to say one more time, go to getkrill.com/Lindell, and it's a win-win-win. We all need win-win-wins right now. The great company, Native Path. There you are, everybody. And Doctor, we'll see you next time. We thank you so much for everything.
Wonderful, Mike. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for everybody watching today. I really appreciate it.
Right on. Thank you. God bless.
You too.
Looks good. Make sure you go check that out and all of those wonderful products. Now, many of you are looking forward to a 3-day weekend, so shop away there at that website that Mike just gave you. And by the way, speaking of the weekend, the economy numbers are looking good as we head into the Labor Day weekend. Trump's economy is booming. Consumer spending is up. Inflation is low. Lots of good news to brag about today. Wages are also up. Here's more from Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
We commemorate Labor Day this year. We finally have a president who fights and delivers for the American worker every single day. President Trump believes that American workers are the heart and soul of our economy and our national identity, which is why he's championed an agenda that puts them first always. For decades, the hardworking men and women of our country who built the greatest nation in world history were sold out by selfish, greedy, short-sighted globalists who put our country on a path to economic and cultural ruin. They hollowed out our factories and towns and betrayed the American working class by shipping jobs overseas and importing millions of low-wage migrants to replace American workers. Under President Trump, this national disgrace is over. American workers are once again being put at the center of national trade policy, and the dignity of American labor is being defended. As a result, President Trump has already brought in nearly $10 trillion in new private and foreign investments so that the top businesses in the world can create high-paying jobs in America and hire American workers to fill them. In fact, since President Trump took office, the economy has added more than 500,000 new jobs to the workforce. In a stark reversal from the Biden administration, all of that job creation has been driven by private sector growth, and all employment gains have gone to native-born Americans. Wages for blue-collar workers are now rising at the fastest rate in the past 60 years. And the average American worker has already seen a $500 wage increase this year alone. Thanks to the largest middle tax cuts ever signed into law by President Trump, with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, Americans in all 50 states will keep more of their hard-earned money. The average American taxpayer will see a tax cut of nearly $4,000 because of these pro-growth provisions, according to analysis from the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation.
And gas prices are also down for all of the travelers hitting the roads this weekend, so definitely be safe out there. As we close out the show, we want to end the day in prayer, as we always do. This Bible verse of the day comes from the book of Timothy, and it says this: "But flee from these things, you man of God, and pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, perseverance, and gentleness." So keep this in mind as you're with your family and friends this weekend. And that'll do it for us here today on Spin Room. We'll see you right back here, same time, same place next week. In the meantime, Steve Bannon's War Room is next. Have a blessed holiday weekend. I'm Vanessa Broussard, and you're watching Lindell TV.